I know a lot of you think the Jets don't deserve to go to the playoffs either way. And I kind of have, and have said after we were 7-4, if we end up collapsing, I literally said this, that I'm not going to be checking the scores of every other team. Like, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm really sick and tired of it. But the reality is if we finish the seventh seed, it's legitimate. There's no such thing as I don't deserve it. The seventh best team in the AFC gets to go to the playoffs. So the reality is if we were to beat Seattle and beat Miami, we and finish with the seventh seed, we deserve it based on the rules of football because the top seven teams go. So, it is what it is. Now, just wanted to give a quick update of what the Jets need to do, not to just make the playoffs. We can go through a million scenarios about that, but the real scenario I want is how do we make the Miami game a playoff game or feel like a playoff game? How do we make the Miami game individually decide whether the Jets or the Dolphins go to the playoffs regardless of what anyone else does? Well, a big part of it actually happened yesterday. The Raiders losing helps, but most importantly, the Patriots losing was a very big deal. So here we go. The Miami Green Bay game is tremendous if we want to win and you're in type of game with Miami, the last game of the season. We need Miami to lose. Pretty obvious, right? They're playing an NFC team. How could it possibly benefit if they win? Now, look, if that happens, this is what that triggers. That means next week we beat Seattle. Let's say we beat Seattle next week. If Miami loses today and we beat Seattle next week, all we need is for Miami to beat New England, which is probably going to happen because they don't have this psychological wall in beating the Patriots. And let's face it, they're a better team. So, in a sense, the Miami Dolphins are our frenemies because we want them to lose today. We want them to win next week, and then we want to beat their butt the last game of the season. So a lot of you, I know, are going to go to the chat and say, we can't beat anybody. We don't have a quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of you are going to say, if Mike White plays, we'll win. And then my friend Tony Alexia will say, dum-dum, just use Streveler and we'll win. Look, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just giving you a fact. If we want the Miami Dolphin game that we play the last game of the season to be the most relevant and exciting game we've played in years, since 2015, that's what has to happen. We need Miami to lose to Green Bay, and then we need them to beat New England. And that's all we need to happen. Miami to go to 1-1. Win this, lose this week, win next week. And then, of course, we have to take care of business in Seattle. And then we set up an exciting game for us. Or we could sit here and have a meaningless game the last week of the season, lose to Seattle, just be super depressed and have nothing to be excited about. What's the point of that? So, personally, I hope Mike White is healthy. I really do. Gives us a much, much better chance to win, obviously. Streveler's fun to watch, but hard to imagine. Because as well as he played, I know he ignited the team and it was a great drive, and I'm not complaining. Look, I love the kid. He is a warrior, by the way. He's an absolute beast. He is a man's man. The reality is you saw the passing, and the passing wasn't very good. We kind of had a touchdown that he kind of left on the table when he underthrew the tight end by 5 yards. But man, he did much, much better than the quarterback we had in there the whole 3 quarters, didn't he? So we'll take it. Anyway, regardless of who starts, that's the reality. Miami Dolphins, our frenemy. We get to have a frenemy. Miami, lose today, but we're with you next week. We're with you all the way. Let's beat Seattle. Let's have an exciting game. Then we could be miserable all we want in the offseason if that's what you choose. But how about one more time that we get together? And if Miami loses today, even the Seattle game will be fun. But one more game where we get together at the end of the year. Can you imagine last game of the year and we can get into the playoffs? I know you're disappointed. I know that our quarterback situation absolutely stinks, but isn't it better than nothing to be able to say, hey, if we win this game, we're in the playoffs against a divisional foe that we hate, our frenemy, the Miami Dolphins? Hey, if you like this video, then watch another video. It's right over here somewhere. There should be like another video that you can watch. And then over here, That's to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't, I don't know what to say. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel because there'll be more content. It's a cool thing. It's a cool concept. That's how YouTube decides what you see. If you never want to see me again, don't click anything. And hasta la vista, baby, and go Jets.